हरि ओम। श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शंकरो वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम. We shall chant from the third mantra of the second section, second chapter. Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram Sharam Yupasanishtam Sandhayita Ayamya Tadbhavagatena Chetasa Laksham Tadevaksharam Somya Vidhi Pranavo Dhanusharo Yatma Brahmatallakshyamuchyate Apramattena Vedhavyam Sharavattanmayo Bhavet Yasmindyo Prithvi Chantariksham Otam Manassaha Pranaishcha Sarvaihi Tamevaikam Janatha Atmanamanya Vacho Vimunchatha Amrutasya Shasetuhu Ara Ivaratana Samhata Yatra Nadyaha Saishontascharate Bahudha Jayamanaha Omittevam Dhyayata Atmanam Swasti Vapparaya Tamasaparastat. So the teacher is revealing this Brahma Vidya to the disciple. We have seen in the first section, the disciple had approached the teacher and asked about that knowledge, knowing which everything becomes known. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. So the teacher began by revealing that there are two types of knowledge, the lower knowledge and the higher knowledge. The lower knowledge is about karma, dharma, karma phala, etc., which is revealed in the initial portion of the Vedas. And the higher knowledge which is revealed in the Upanishad is that when we realize that Atma, realization of that Atma itself is the higher knowledge. So briefly, first the teacher talked about the lower knowledge and the ultimate result which one may gain through lower knowledge, that is going to Brahmalok, etc. All of them are temporary. Thereafter the teacher started revealing that higher knowledge, indicating that Supreme Brahma. Through various examples, the teacher revealed that Supreme Brahma, which alone expresses as this world. So the world which we experience is Brahma alone, expressing as the entire world. And this Brahma is our own inner self. So we have to recognize our own inner self as Brahma. So for that the teacher gave the metaphor of a bow and arrow and the target. So taking the bow of Pranava, Om, and taking the arrow of our own inner self and Brahma as the target, one has to shoot that arrow, meditate constantly on that Brahma and recognize that Brahma, realize that Brahma as our own self. The teacher further mentioned that everything is supported by that Brahma. Knowing that Brahma alone, we will become free of this samsara. Just as the wheel is supported by the hub and the axle, similarly the whole world is supported by that Brahma. So one has to meditate on that Brahma, taking the support of Om. Om iti evam dhyayata atmanam swasti vaparaya tamasa parasthat. Taking the support of Om, you meditate on that Brahma as that Atma and cross this samsara. The teacher also wishes the student a happy journey free from all obstacle and to gives Ashirvad to reach the destination. So that Brahma which is indicated in the Shastra is our own self. So I am Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, this Atma itself is Brahma. And to help us to realize this Atma as Brahma, we can go in steps. So first one has to understand ourselves as that Vaishvanara Atma. Thereafter we can understand ourselves as Hiranyagarbha. Then understand ourselves as that Ishvara. And finally realize our own self as Brahma. So through Omkara Upasana, through Omkara Chintan, one has to realize oneself as that Supreme Brahma. Since this topic is subtle, the teacher conveys the same thing again in the next mantra also. So let us chant mantra number 7. Yas sarvajna sarvavita yasyesha mahima bhuvi divve brahmapure yesha vyomnyatma pratishtitah manomaya prana sharira neta प्रतिष्ठितोन्ये हृदयं सन्निधाय तद्विज्ञानेन परिपश्यन्ति धीराः आनन्दरूपममृतं यद्विभाति. Once more. यस् सर्वज्ञ सर्ववित् यस्येष महिमा भुवि दिव्ये ब्रह्मपुरे येष व्योम्न्यात्मा प्रतिष्ठितः मनोमय प्राण शरीर नेता प्रतिष्ठितोन्ये हृदयं सन्निधाय तद्विज्ञानेन परिपश्यन्ति धीराः आनन्दरूपममृतं यद्विभाति. So that which is beyond this tamas, which was mentioned before, tamasa parastat, that one has to realize as our own self. So here in this mantra, the teacher says, Yas sarvajna sarvavita, yasyesha mahima bhuvi, that which is sarvajna, this Brahma, it was indicated before also, is sarvajna and sarvavita. Sarvajna means it knows everything in general and knows everything in particular also. That Brahma is of the nature of knowledge. This whole expression of Brahma, which is constantly changing, is inert. The five great elements, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, our senses, our mind, our intellect, everything is made up of matter. But this matter has got that presence of Brahma is illumined by Brahma, so it gets the power to know. The senses get the power to perceive. The intellect, the mind gets the power to think, to understand. But the ultimate knower, that because of which all this knowing happens, is that Brahma alone. Brahma is of the nature of knowledge, jnanam. So Brahma alone knows everything in general, and Brahma alone knows everything in particular also. So Yas Sarvajna Sarvavita. This mantra, these two words were explained in the one of the previous mantra also. And Yasya Esha Mahima Bhuvi. And this whole world is like a Mahima, the glory of this Atma, glory of this Brahma. Everything is the glory of that Brahma. In Purusha Suktam also it is said, Esha Etavanasya Mahima Ato Jaya Gascha Purushaha. That Purusha, that Supreme Brahma, his Mahima alone is this entire world. It is beyond this world. It is much more than this world. This world is just a little expression of that Brahma. Brahma is much vaster and subtler than this world also. So what is the Mahima which one is talking about? What is the glory of this Brahma? This world is the glory, but how to understand the glory? So that has been very beautifully presented by Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya. So that question is, Ko asau Mahima? What is the glory? What is the Mahima of this Brahma? So the answer is ki yasya ime dyava prithivyo shasane vidrute tishtatah. In this Brahma alone, first of all, exists this entire cosmos, this Dev, this vast, infinite Akash is supported by this Brahma alone. Not only this Akash, but all the galaxies and the planets and this Prithvi on which we are staying, this Prithvi is also supported by this Brahma alone. Yasya ime dyava prithivyo shasane vidrute tishtatah. In its sashan, in its command, by the command of that Brahma alone, everything in this world is sustained and expressing, functioning very systematically. Everything functions so systematically. Shankaracharya ji writes further, कि सूर्य चंद्रमसौ यस्य शासने अलात चक्रवद अजस्रम भ्रमतः. That even the sun, the moon, under the command of this Brahma, revolves and rotates in such a precise way that it can be precisely calculated also. Therefore, we have in our tradition, we have this Panchanga, where our great mathematicians, they make that Panchanga in which they predict even the eclipse, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, precisely, exactly at what time, in which place we will be able to see the beginning of that eclipse, how long it will last. Everything is predicted, calculated in advance. So everything functions so mathematically precisely in nature that it is quite amazing. And it happens by the command, by the Shakti of that Supreme Brahma alone. See, let us say, if we see a clock, like that, we used to have that wall clock. So let us say there is a clock which functions very precisely. It shows the time accurately. The hours, the minutes, the seconds, everything is shown by that clock precisely. And if you open the clock, you will see that there are many gears and many springs and screws and so many things we will see inside the clock, which makes the whole clock functions very precisely. Now suppose we see that clock. Is it something which is just which is just a product of nature? Is the clock something which is just found in nature just like that, or is it made by someone? Is the clock made by someone, or is it a natural thing which is just part of nature, a natural phenomena that you just happen to see a clock? If that question is asked to us, we will say no, it cannot be natural. It is functioning so precisely, all the gears and everything is attached to it so systematically. So there must be a clock maker who has made that clock to function very precisely. It cannot just happen in a natural way, that just some material come together and become a clock. That we don't find happening in nature. So there must be an intelligent human being who has made that clock. So this we understand, it is so logical, we accept it also. We accept fully that if a clock is there which functions systematically, there must be a clock maker. And that clock maker must be intelligent, who has set all these gears and everything so precisely to show the right time. If something which we accept at a smaller scale, same thing is true at a larger scale also. We see in this vast cosmos that things are functioning very systematically, very precisely. The galaxies, they move in a very precise way. The stars, they function in a precise way. The planets move around the stars in a precise way. In our own solar system, we have this 8 planets which move very systematically around our sun. That their precise location can be calculated. So this cannot just happen by chance, by nature. Just like a clock cannot happen just by chance, this whole cosmos functions like a clock. It cannot just happen by chance. So it is been made like that, and it is been kept in motion by an intelligent creator. And that is what it is said here. Shankaracharya writes, कि सूर्य चंद्रमसो यस्य शासने अलात चक्रवत अजस्रम भ्रमतः, that the sun and the moon, they keep on revolving, rotating precisely by the command of that creator. Yasya shasane saritah sagarascha swagocharam na atikramanti. Further, Shankaracharya ji writes, ki even the oceans and the rivers, they also flow and they also remain within their laws, within their rules. They don't transcend their rules. They don't transcend their laws. We see the vast oceans which is covering this entire our globe. Our earth is covered, so much of percentage of the land is covered by water. These oceans are there. But the level of the ocean remains same, precise, follows proper laws. Then the rivers which are there flowing constantly into the ocean, they also follow proper laws, proper rules. So whose rules are they following? Who has made them like that? That Supreme Brahma, who is all-knowing and all-powerful, has made them like that. It has not just happened by chance. That's what people generally they say. Oh, it is just nature. It is just happening like that. Nothing happens by chance. They are made like that by that Supreme Creator. Tatha stavara jangamam cha yasya shasane niyatam. Also, all that is inert and the sentient beings also follow precise laws and rules. They remain within their structure. A fish will behave like a fish, a bird will behave like a bird, following their internal, that dharma, moving and functioning precisely. At the same time in the year, they will have their, they will express in a particular way. They will have their little ones. They will take care of them. Birds will have their own different types of nests. They will take care of their little ones. The ants, they behave in their own way, very systematically. They will build their ant hills. So the char as well as achara, the sentient as well as the insentient things in this world, everything functions according to precise laws. They are as though commanded by someone. And who is that someone? That is that Brahma, the Supreme Ishvara, who is Sarvajna and Sarvavita, who knows everything. In general as well as in particular, he knows everything and who is all powerful. So yasya shasane niyatam tatha chartavor ayane abdascha yasya shasanam na atikramanti. So not only the material world functions in a very precise way, also the sentient being, but there is a precise structure in which the time also moves. And because of that we have a systematic expression of the different seasons. So rutus are there. The summer, the winter, the rainy season, the autumn, the spring. The various seasons come and go systematically, precisely. Also the ayana, Dakshinayan, Uttarayan, means the 6 months in which the sun appears to be traveling towards the south, and 6 months when it is traveling towards the north. So Dakshinayan, Uttarayan, and the various years and various yugas, they all are expressing systematically the day, the night, the hours, the minutes, the seconds. So very precise, so very, very definite and systematic. That is the most amazing thing. Even science actually keep discovering this system in this world, and that is what we call the scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge means it just discovers what is already there. The scientists don't create these laws. Newton did not create the gravitational law. He just discovered it. They discovered how the various things function. And they come up with some theory about it, which then later on they change their theory also. When they come to see some new evidence and all, they change their theory. Like the gravitational law, the understanding of gravity was different during Newton's time. But the understanding of gravity, why it functions, how it functions, became different after Einstein spoke about it. In his general theory of relativity, in his special theory of relativity, he talked about this gravity and all. So they just discover the laws which are already there, which are so amazing, so strange, that they also find it very amazing. Like the speed of light is constant. Whatever be the speed of the observer, the speed of light is constant. So all these precise rules and laws which are there, they are set in motion by the Supreme Brahma, and under his command everything functions. That is how we have to contemplate, meditate on that Ishvara. Meditate on his glories, appreciate his glories. Tatha kartaraha karmani phalancha yash shashanat swam swam kalam na ativartante. Further, Shankaracharya ji writes that even we see that the doers are there, these jivas are there who perform karma, and according to the karma, they get their result. Precisely. If I have performed some karma, then I alone will get the result. If I have performed my karma in my past life, in a different body, in a different environment, in a different situation, I get the result in this life also. So exactly the result is given to that same jiva. Ishvara recognizes that jiva, whatever be our body. If our own grandparents, our own relatives and all who have died, if they happen to come in some different body, and we happen to meet them, we will not recognize them. And that is how it happens actually. We meet so many people in this world, we don't recognize them. But they may have been our own relatives, friends in our past lives. But we don't recognize because their bodies have changed. Their personalities have changed. Even in this life, if we meet some person after a long time, we may not recognize that person. His body has changed, his personality has changed, we may not recognize, but Ishvara recognizes. He gives the result precisely to the same person who has committed who has performed that action. So there is a precise law of karma which is seen in this world. Therefore, this world is not an illusion. It is not something which is the product of ignorance. This world is not a product of ignorance. Like a snake on a rope, a snake which is seen on a rope, if I mistake it, it is because of my ignorance. But this world is not a product of ignorance. This world is a product of Maya, the Shakti of that Brahma. In Gita also Bhagavan says, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam, that in my presence, my own Shakti projects this world. So, yas shasanat swam swam kalam na ativartante, sa esha mahima, that is, these are the glories of that Brahma. This is the glory of that Brahma. See, for example, electricity. Electricity is nothing but, I think, movement of the electrons. The electron moves, which generates that electricity. But when we see the expression of that electricity, the functioning of that electricity, it is so very different. Same electricity runs the fan. Same electricity makes the air conditioner function, making the room so cool and nice and pleasant. Same electricity we use to heat. Same electricity is used in the refrigerator. Same electricity makes the radio function, the television function. Same electricity is there in our mobile phone. Same electricity is there in our brains also. So the expressions of electricity are many, many, many. Depending on the equipment, they appear different. But the electricity is one and same. Similarly, that Brahma is one. But the Shakti of Brahma, that Prakriti or Maya, is so very fascinating that the same Brahma expresses as this beautiful world, which functions so precisely, definitely, systematically. Not only the material world, inert world functions in this way, but sentient beings also functions in a precise way. And there is a precise moment of time and seasons and all, etc. And the laws of karma also happen very systematically. All these are the glory, the mahima of this Brahma. So that is what is said, ki yas sarvajna sarvavita yasya esha mahima bhuvi. These are all its glory in this world. Loke yasya sa esha sarvajna evam mahima devaha. This glorious Ishvara, this Brahma, whose mahima is all this what we see, where does he reside? He resides everywhere. But where can we meet him? Where can we recognize that Ishvara? Where is his home? The Upanishad says he stays in the Divye Brahmapure. He lives in Brahmapur. And where is that Brahmapur? In our own Antakarana, in our own heart, which is divine, which is in which there is this our mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. The thoughts are there, which are illumined. So the Antakarana is as though bright and lighted by the presence of that light of that Supreme Brahma. So Divye Dyotanavati Sarva Bauddha Pratyaya Krita Dyotane Brahmapure. So the luminous thoughts and emotions which are there in our antakarana, in that antakarana, in the very space of our own antakarana, in the space of our heart, is that Brahmapura, is the as though the city of that Brahma in which he resides. That Supreme Brahma resides in our own antakarana. Just imagine. So Brahmano atra chaitanya surupena nitya abhivyaktatvat Brahmanaha puram hridaya pundarikam tasmin yad vyoma tasmin vyomni akashe rit pundarika madhyaste pratishtitaha iva upalabhyate. So that Brahma is available in our antakarana. We will be able to realize that Brahma in our antakarana. Therefore, it is said that it is residing there. Though really speaking, Brahma is everywhere. Like space. Space is everywhere. Similarly, Brahma is everywhere. But Brahma is realized in our own antakarana, in the very cave of our heart, in the space of our heart. Therefore, that space of our heart is indicated here as Brahmapura, the city of Brahma in which he resides, whose glory is this entire creation, is residing in our own antakarana, in our own heart, where we experience the sense of I, that is our heart. See, we don't experience the sense of I in our head or in our stomach. It is experienced in our heart, near our physical heart. We experience the sense of I there. So where we experience the sense of I is the space in which that Brahma exists, in which the Brahma can be recognized. So we have to, through our sadhana, enter our heart and recognize that Brahma. As Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi Ji reveals in that his famous shloka. Today actually is Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi Ji's Mahasamadhi day, 14th April. So, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi in that shloka he says, कि हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलम ब्रह्म मात्रम यहमहम इति साक्षात आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदय विषमनसा स्वम चिन्वता मज्जता वा पवन चलन रोधात आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम. Ramana Maharshi Ji says कि हृदय कुहर मध्ये, हृदय heart, kuhara is like a cave. So our heart means our antakarana, which is experienced near our physical heart. Therefore it is also called heart. So that antakarana, in that we can experience that Brahma. Because that Brahma, which is all pervading, which is the very substratum of this entire creation, that Brahma is expressing as aham, aham, aham in our heart. Aham spuranam, which is the very support of even the aham vritti. Aham vritti, aham thought, is supported by that aham spuranam, throbbing of that I, which is experienced in its pure form when we are asleep. In deep sleep, only that I alone is there. Therefore, when we wake up, I recognize that I was there in sleep. I know that I was present. Nobody says that they were absent in sleep. So that which is even beyond the thoughts, which is experienced as I, thoughtless I. Ahaminasha bhaji, aham taya spurati rut swayam paramapurna sat. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji says in Upadesh Saram that even this aham vritti, when it stops, that aham spuranam, that atma by itself shines forth as aham, as I. Not as a thought I, but as I itself. So, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram, that Keval Brahma, pure Brahma, is shining in our own Antakarana as aham. So, what should we do? We should enter our heart. Means what? Means we actually, in the waking and all, we are living as though outside the heart. It's like people, they have their homes, but during the day, they go out to work in some office or in some factory. So they are not at home. Suppose you go to meet that person at home, that person is not available there. He has gone to work in his office. So we wait at home for him to return. So when he returns, then we can meet him. Similarly, Ishvara resides in our heart, which is our home. But we are busy working in the office. Our senses are like the office. We are busy working in the office. But when we get tired, when we are sleepy, then we come to our home. But we are so tired that as soon as we reach our home, we fall asleep. So we are unable to see Ishvara. And when we are awake, immediately we go to the office. So we don't meet Ishvara. Though Ishvara is staying in our own home, as soon as we wake up, we go to the office. And when we come home, we fall asleep immediately. But if we remain awake and enter the heart, we will be able to meet Ishvara. And that is what is called meditation. Meditation is nothing but entering our own heart, remaining awake. Generally, we enter our heart and fall asleep. But enter the heart wakefully, awarefully, and realize, recognize, meet Ishvara who is residing there. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati. Ishvara resides in the heart of all beings. So Hridaya Visha Manasa Swam. So enter your own Antakarana with the help of your mind, with the help of your thinking, knowledge, chintanam. Shift your awareness into your heart. So Hridaya Visha Manasa Swam Chinvata. Chinvata through thinking, through chintan. Majjata through diving, by surrendering to your own inner self. Pavana chalala rodhat, by pranayam and restraining the breathing, enter your own heart. Through chintan, through diving, and through breath control, enter your heart. And recognize, realize, meet that Ishvara, meet Brahma who is residing there, and become one with Brahma. So that is what is said here, ki that Brahma resides in that Brahmapura. Brahmapure Vyomni Pratishtitaha. It is in the Brahmapura, like Akash, that Brahma is. Brahma is not it is not like some object, it is like space. It is like space. So that Brahma is sa hi atma tatra tatrastra manovrittibhihi eva vibhavyate iti manomayah. That Brahma is also indicated as manomayah. It associated with the mind, it appears like the mind. Associated with the mind, with the thoughts of our mind, that Brahma alone is appearing like the mind. Just like the light of the sun, associated with any object, it appears like that object. Similarly, that Brahma, which is like space, all pervading, appears like the mind, associated with the mind. Therefore, it is called Manomayaha. Sahi Atma tatrastha manovrittibhihi eva vibhavyate iti Manomayaha. Mana upaditvat. Mind is like its upadhi, conditioning. Through the mind, it appears like the mind. And it is prana sharira neta. Pranascha shariram cha prana shariram tasyayam netas. So that Brahma is also indicated here as prana sharira neta. See our sukshma sharir, which is also associated with prana. The sukshma sharir, which is made up of antakarana, mana buddhi chitta ahankar, then pancha jnanendriya, pancha karmendriyas, and the pancha pranas. So there are these 19 parts in our sukshma sharir that is indicated here as prana sharira. When this body gets dropped, stula sharir, that sukshma sharir is carried from one body to another body. It is taken from this body to a new body. And who is taking this prana sharir? Who is taking that sukshma sharir from one body to another body? That Brahma. Brahma alone takes that body from one body to another. Therefore, it is called prana sharira neta, which leads the body from sukshma sharir from one stula sharir to another stula sharir. So pranascha shariram cha prana shariram tasyayam neta stulat sharirat sharirantaram prati. From stula sharir to another stula sharir it takes. See, just as in our mobile, we have that what you call the SIM card. The SIM card is there in the mobile, and I use it. So there is the mobile of a particular company, then there is the SIM card, and I am the user. So I am like Atma, the SIM card is like Sukshma Sharir, and the mobile is like Sthula Sharir. Then I buy a new phone. First I buy a new phone. Then what I do, I remove this SIM card and carry it to the new phone and put it there. So I am the one who takes the SIM card from one mobile and puts it into the another mobile. In the same way that Brahma, that Atma, takes the Sukshma Sharir from one body and puts it into another body. Therefore it is called Prana Sharira Neta. प्रतिष्ठितः अवस्थितः अन्ने भुज्यमानान् अन्न विपरिणामे प्रतिदिनम् उपचीयमाने अपचीयमाने च पिंडरूप अन्ने. Also this Brahma resides in this body. This body is made up of anna. The physical body is made up of food. The food which we eat go to make our body. It is made from food, it is sustained by food, and it is again merges back into the earth, which is the very source of all food. So therefore this body is called Annamaya. So in this Annamaya body, in the heart resides this Brahma. So pratishtito anne hridayam sannidhaya. Hridayam buddhi pundarika chidre sannidhaya samavasthapya. Hridayavasthanam eva yatmanah stitihi na yatma stitiranne. So remaining in that antakarana only, it is said that it is remaining in this body. Atma is experienced in our antakarana, and that antakarana is in this Sthula Sharir. So it is as though Atma is also residing in this Sthula Sharir. So that Atma has to be realized, recognized. And how? Here Shankaracharya further says, ki tad Atma Tattvam Vijnanena. That knowledge of Atma one should gain. And how? Vishishtena Shastra Acharya Upadesha Janitena. By the Upadesh received from our teacher, we have to gain the knowledge of our Atma. That we have to learn this from a teacher. So, in Gita also Bhagavan says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshinaha. That you approach a teacher, do namaskar, ask question and learn from the teacher, and he will teach you. So, Shastra upadesha janitena jnanena. But in order to be able to receive that knowledge precisely, we should have all the qualities like Shama, Dhamma, Dhyana, Sarvatyaga, Vairagya, Udbhutena. So through the qualities like Shama, Dhamma, control of our mind, our senses, then through Dhyana, through constant meditation, and through Tyaga, Vairagya, through Vairagya also, when we constantly meditate on the knowledge which we have received from our teacher, we will be able to finally realize our own self. Sarvatah Purnam Pashyanti Upalabhante Dhiraha, the wise seeker who has gained the proper understanding from the teacher is able to see that Atma What Atma? Ananda Rupam, which is of the nature of bliss. The blissful self. We ourselves are of the nature of bliss, happiness. Sarvanartha dukkha ayasa prahinam, which is free from all calamities, from all sorrows, suffering. There is not a trace of suffering in that Atma. It is free from all calamities, all sorrow, all struggle. That Atma, blissful Atma, is also Amrutam, is immortal. There is no death for that Atma. Yad vibhati visheshena swatmani eva bhati sarvada. So that Atma is realized properly by this seeker. Which is that Sakshat, that Brahma, our own inner self, is realized by this wise seeker, by the blessings of the teacher. So all of you also who are listening to this pravachan should contemplate, meditate, gain all the good qualities like Shama, Dhamma, Vairagya, and realize your own self as Brahma and become free of this samsar. Samsar se mukta ho jao. Live in this world as a Jivan Mukta, as an enlightened person. Okay? More about this we will see in our class on Monday. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. And we will meet again on Monday to continue with our Mundaka Upanishad class. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Siya Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.